Welcome to Mars. This is the Technomancer.
That was your Technomancer.
Welcome to Mars. Isn't that the intro to Doom 3?
But I wasn't allowed near it.
Isn't... I don't know. You know I haven't played Doom 3, so maybe?
Is this Doom 3? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Doom 3 without the demons. Instead, we've got these hot, teenage-looking protagonists.
Is that Brock Lesnar in the background?
No, but you'll see a bit more of Phobos in a minute.
Dude, I watched him kick Mark Hunt's ass, and now he's going to Mars to kill the demons? That's awesome.
Yeah, he's got a sledgehammer in this as well. He's totally stolen Triple H's gimmick. I don't like Phobos. So, this is the Technomancer. This is a very Mass Effect-like RPG from a team called Spiders. They're a French team owned by Focus Home Interactive, who are the ones who've been putting out a lot of games I really like recently. You know, like that Battlefield Gothic game? We checked out the DLC a couple of weeks ago.
I recognized their name until you said the Battlefleet thing. I was like, oh yeah, it's those people.
Yeah, it's super French, and they're really at like a middle tier, which is kind of, it may sound like a shitty thing, but I mean it in a good way. You know how like THQ games, they used to, like, you could tell there wasn't as much money spent on them as, say, a Call of Duty, but they were still pretty good at times.
So would you say they're like a AA studio?
Yeah, an A, a double A, somewhere around there. Like, there's not many of that size around anymore. They all sort of like vanished around the start of this generation.
Or they got bought up by larger companies?
Yeah, you know, like Deep Silver kind of size. You know, they'll publish some stuff, but they're not huge.
Deep Silver's the Saints Row people, isn't it?
They are now, yes.
Yeah.
Coke Media. But yeah, this is. Have you ever heard of a game called Mars Warlogs?
No.
It's it was a bad game, but it was like, I think it was maybe the Spider's first game. This is a sequel to that game. It's a lot better. It's still weird in the ways that Mars Warlogs were. Mars Warlogs was like on the 360, and it was a terrible RPG, but like, it was like super dark, and like the translation was bad, but there was something there, you know, like every time I looked at it, I got a little bit excited, even though I have never finished the game. I've tried playing it like 4 times. And this is totally... It's got all the good bits of that, but it's actually a pretty good game.
What is this? Oh, and I see the PlayStation controls. Is this PS3 or 4?
This is PS4, Xbox One, PC.
I was going to say, this definitely does look like a PS3 game right now, but...
Yeah, it's, like I said, it's a smaller budget. It's not full price either, it's like £35.
That's not too bad then.
And I really like it. This is not me saying like it's a great game in the traditional sense, but like it's like, you know, when sometimes like games are like exactly what they need to be to achieve what they want to, and like that doesn't necessarily mean that like all the systems are great, or that, like, you know, the combat always remains interesting, but like it does what it wants to, which is in this case telling a really interesting, dark, and like fucked up, but in a good way, kind of story. Like,
I can see why you like this then.
It's not edgy for the sake of being edgy. It's more like, I get the impression that somebody really wanted to tell a story, and what the result is what they wanted to tell. I don't think, like, it's difficult. Like, if you think of Mars Warlogs, that game opens with like a prison rape scene, basically, of a teenage boy.
Wow.
And like, you can either go two ways with that. You can either think, wow, this is somebody trying to do something, you know, in this game's story, or you can think, oh, they're doing it for effect. And I definitely get the impression that this game doesn't have that, but it's very similar in some of its dark tones. And I don't get the impression they're doing it to be edgy. You know, I really feel like this is the story. And yeah, it really worked in a really effective way for me. I enjoyed it a lot. About 20 hours long. It's somewhat open world. You can go wherever you want. There's like side quests and stuff, but like, and the areas are big, but they're sort of like Dark Souls areas, you know. So like, there's not like a huge field, and you can go around crafting shit and stuff. It's more like there's this set of corridors, and you'll unlock extra paths and things.
Yeah.
The problem this game has really is like variety. Like, we're taking a look through the inventory now. There's really not a lot of gear, like, despite the amount of systems I just flicked through. So, it's problems like that. Like, there's just not enough gear, there's not enough enemy types.
The combat seemed a bit weird. You were just kind of floating around with that big staff.
Yeah, there's 3 sets of weapons. I'm just getting rid of some stuff there so I can sprint again. But there's 3 sets of weapons. You pick up different weapons in them. You'll get like a better level staff and stuff, and you can mod the staff and things. But like basically you're stuck with those 3 lots of attacks, and there's extra moves you unlock in the leveling. There's also Technomancer powers, which you'll see a bit more of now, the electric and things. But yeah, I don't think the problem is the combat so much as the enemies. Like the guys we're fighting now, they're really resistant to the electricity, which is the problem when that's like your only power. So that you'll see they take a while to die. But the problem is you fight these guys for most of the game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, before when I said, like, oh, is this a PS3 or PS4 game, and you were like, oh, it's PS4, that's not me, like, shitting on the game. You know, when you just see a game and it has that feel, and this doesn't feel like a current-gen game, you know?
I like that you say that, though, because that's exactly why I like it.
Yeah, you like the older kind of janky games.
Because this game, like I said, this game wants to tell its story, and it makes decisions, but like it'll make you run across the city 1,000 times or something ridiculous, which isn't good from a game design perspective, but like it super works for its style of storytelling. Like, going to the street corner to meet this guy and things. In another game, you might just press a button and it'll teleport you there, but there's reasons it makes you walk through these streets and things, and again, it's not always great from a game design perspective, but it super works for what it's going for. That's not to say I think everyone will enjoy it.
Yeah. What happened to your companions? They've just kind of disappeared.
This game is really hard. I'm playing on easy, and they're totally dead. And I'm running out of health items. They're on the floor somewhere crawling around. I don't think you can heal them, but you can give them stim packs during the battle, if they're still standing.
I see.
There's a massive police van right outside my house. That's weird. I really hope the alarms don't go off.
There were people gardening outside, and I'm hoping that you can't hear that.
Yeah, well, they heard me mention prison rape, and they're instantly on the phone.
Yeah,
but
they got that like Pokemon Go CIA tracking. I heard you say that for your phone. They're coming to get you.
Well, they're monitoring the Technomancer, obviously, because it's such a great game. They know everyone will be playing it, all the edgy teams. Yeah. But yeah, like, so when I say this game is hard, it's kind of like really deliberate. Like, you just have to be dead disciplined about when you're jumping away. We've switched weapons a little bit. There's a shield and a mace, which is slow attacks, but you can block. The staff is better for like area of effect attacks, because they all have special moves and things, and they have special abilities you can unlock in the leveling. So like, I don't think I use it here because I haven't got it. But the staff is like totally this tornado move, which is just like this preset animation that fucks up everybody for about 10 seconds. So when you get stuff like that, the combat gets a bit more fun again, because you start like wasting these dudes I'm fighting. But I really don't like the mace. I quite like the gun and the dagger. It's like... So this is sci-fi, but it's like cyberpunk, and the idea is that humans went to Mars, had massive wars, because that's what they do on Mars, and I think they were the water wars or something, because water is like a huge thing. There's a concept of serum, which I don't know if serum is like medication or just another name for blood, because once I knocked... You see... Yeah, there you go, I died.
Oh.
I don't know if I edited this fight to not make me fight it again. I die a lot during this video, so if you see any, like, pans to black, then that'll be why.
You spent like 3 minutes fighting these people, and you died at the end of it.
Yeah, I should have edited around this in hindsight. I can't believe I didn't, but, there you go. You got to see how fast the loading screens were, which were really fast. Make nice. Bloodborne look like a pile of shit, which it's not. What was I saying? Serum.
Yeah, serum.
I'm beating the fuck out of these people because there's not really any guns. Like, there's nail guns. That's what I'm firing when I use the dagger. So you're not really killing anybody. But after this fight, I can go around and extract the serum from these people. I still don't know what that does. Like, I think it kills them, but I don't know, I'm harvesting their blood or what.
Harvesting their semen. It was a mistype in the game's manual.
So this company's French, and like I said, the translation for the game this is the sequel of was really bad. I don't think the translation's bad here, but you know how when you play Japanese games, and it doesn't always make sense?
Yeah.
You know, like somebody will say something and then the character will respond, but it's not quite what you would imagine the response would be. Like, it's slightly different sentence. There's a weirdness to it. There's a quality that, like, you don't quite understand everything that's happening in the scene. There's a lot of that, which I also really like.
I like when that happens, but you have like subtitles on, and the subtitles are completely different to what they're speaking because the translation teams didn't like communicate when they were doing voice acting and the subtitles.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that problem, but you get the feeling that this was written in a different country, and I love that. There's also like there's characters, and they're just like the character is who they are. They're not, there's characters that are clearly bad guys, or they're opposing you, but they're not necessarily bad. And you're like, you've got a karma system, but it's not.
Hi, Zach. Everything all right?
It's deeper than just like good acts and bad acts. It's not like Paragon and Renegade. It's more like you're interacting with these different groups, and you have different meters for all these different factions. There's a lot of like cool morality stuff where it never really tells you whether you're doing something good or bad. Obviously, if I'm pulling fucking serum from a dude's neck, that's clearly bad because I'm killing him. But like, it's just dead nebulous. Like, it's almost like there's a haze in front of everything in this game, and you never quite know what's happening in a scene. And I really love that.
Why are you fighting a massive tentacle monster with a bad rendered face?
So this is when the combat gets good. There's fights against these bosses, but there's only maybe half a dozen in the game. And it's like a boss fight, basically, and they have like unique mechanics, and they're fucking hard.
Did it just shoot bees at you?
I think so. Bees or like plague flies, I can't tell much. Also, I left a bit of the story stuff in at the start. I don't think there's any spoilers in this video that really matter. But you have like companions like you would in a Mass Effect game. I think there's about 6 or something. And you can do side quests for them and stuff, and you can romance them, but it's not... It's not... You don't get like the whole, here's like Liara's ass on a bed. It's more just like, well, here's an achievement sort of thing.
Yeah.
But they're like... The characters I spent time with are like really good. And their stories are like really fucked up. But it's good. Like, it's handled in a way where you get the impression that your character and theirs are like coming together, as opposed to you're fulfilling criteria to sleep with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a problem in Mass Effect.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the problem with most characters in all the Mass Effect games. But here, it's just written in such a way that it feels way more genuine. And I just fucking blew myself up on my own mind. So we'll just take another run at this dude, and then wrap it up. But yeah, I really dig it. There's a lot of really cool things that I think a lot of people will have to suffer through the gameplay to get to. But I enjoy the core act of the gameplay, but it does get a little bit stale. Like after 20 hours of beating people up with a stick.
Is there character creation? Did you make your guy, or is he just default?
You can choose the appearance, but he is a guy called Zachriah Mancer. Oh, I didn't go into the names, did I? They all have insane names. Like that woman we're with now is called... I don't remember her name, but there's another... You know the woman in the car? She was driving the thing at the start. Her name is Amelia Seeker, and she's meant to be like a play on Amelia Earhart. And she's Seeker because she goes around like the surface of Mars uncovering things. She's an explorer. You're a Technomancer, so your name is Zachriah Mancer. Now in Mars War Logs, you play as a dude called Roy Temperance, and he's a dick, but the boy that gets almost raped at the beginning of that game is called Somebody Innocence. Like, it's fucking all over the place, and
God damn it.
Weird, and again, I love it.
That's terrible, but great.
I don't understand what any of it means. It's not consistent, but it's great.
What exactly is a Technomancer anyway? Can he, like, manipulate machines?
Sort of. You've got electricity powers, as you can see. Andrew is... actually, I shouldn't spoil that. Well, whatever. Basically, giving it away. Andrew is kind of a Technomancer, so you might see him do some powers as well. He's the other dude with the staff who's totally on the floor now. Think like Jedi, but you work for a corporation and you've got some dark secrets that the rest of the world shouldn't know.
Are you sure this isn't like your fan fiction right now?
It's basic. I get it's basically my fan fiction. I love this game. I don't think it's a great game. I think it's a serviceable game with a really good feel, story. I don't know what to call it because it's more than just the writing. It's like the actual world.
And an atmosphere.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite games in a long, long time, and it's totally fucking weird. So check out the review on GameDropZone.com. Hopefully that will tell you in a more informative way what I've just tried to do now in the last quarter of an hour.